Here we go.
Let's do it.
Welcome to DoubleCommaDreams, a podcast where we share our journey building successful blogs and YouTube channels and discuss how to achieve your own financial and career goals. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how content writers can use AI tools to improve their own writing process and create high quality content. As bloggers and content creators ourselves, we know the challenges that come with creating fresh and engaging content on a regular basis. AI tools can help take some of the burden off of the content writers by automating certain tasks and providing valuable insights. This is a really good intro, by the way. We'll be discussing the different AI tools available and how they can be used in the content writing process. Whether you're a seasoned writer or you're just starting out, we believe that incorporating AI tools into your workflow can help you become a more efficient and effective writer. Tune in to learn more. All right, so I want to preface this by saying this is a tool called ChatGPT, created by the company that's named OpenAI, and I just told it to write an intro for us. So if that was a good intro, AI wrote that intro. Neither one of us wrote that intro. What do you think about that, Nico?
I liked it. It was kind of long, but I'll give AI it though. What else can it do? Do it again, but make it spicy. In this spicy episode.
That's really cool.
So all it did was make it in this spicy
sassy.
episode.
That's what I meant. We spill the tea on our journey building successful blogs. In this sassy episode, oh my goodness, this is awesome. It's pretty much saying the same thing, just with a little bit of personality. Maybe not a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit of personality.
Say, do it again, but make it manic.
Manic?
I'm just playing.
So, I messed around with this for a couple hours. I probably shouldn't say a couple hours, but it really was a couple hours. And I came up with some really cool prompts to show people what this thing is possible of. And by the way, before we dive into this, I'm going to give an outline of how this episode is going to be set up. We're going to be talking about ChatGPT, how you can use it to like improve things on your blog. We'll also be going into DALL-E, which is basically ChatGPT, but for images. You can see these are like really cool. They're all created by AI. And then I got a bunch of other, look at all these tabs up here. These are all other AI tools that you could use for your business. And then at the end, we're going to be learning how Nico uses an AI tool for some of his content creation and his experience of how he's went through that. So that's the real intro. So I'm going to go ahead. Is there anything you want me to say to this AI before I go in and dive into some of how I've been using it to help like improve my blog?
Yeah, I'm interested on how you're using it.
All right, so I came up with a bunch of different uses for this AI, and you can kind of do this stuff in Jasper and copy.ai and some of these other AI tools that are already out there. This chat.openai.com just does it way better. It's like there's like GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3. That's kind of where we're at right now. And then this website is like ChatGPT 3.5. So we haven't got 4 yet. And when we do, 4 is going to be amazing. But by the way, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3, which is basically a bunch of jargon that just means this was created with AI. So the very first thing that I want to copy and paste here is to show you that ChatGPT does a really good job of creating outlines. So, for example, please outline a blog post that teaches the reader how to find their inner peace. And this is obviously going to be a little different than the one that I created when I was testing, because the way this model works, this is a really long outline. It looks at what you've written up here. So you might see it mention DoubleCommaDreams or some of this stuff down here. But like, if you're writing an article about how to find your inner peace, start by defining what inner peace means, discuss common barriers, offer practical tips. So like, this is actually really good. A really good outline for an article. This may not have been the best example because the one that I did was like, here are the like 7 things you need to talk about in the order you need to talk about them. And I was like, that was great. So I'm going to try to come up with something else here on the spot.
Please outline a blog post that teaches the writer how to build a pickaxe in Minecraft.
This is going to be interesting. Okay, this is actually what every blog writer does. Start by explaining what a pickaxe is and the importance of it. That's crazy. Most blog writers actually do that before they explain what. So this is still like in numbers. Yeah. Oh my goodness, is it actually going to tell you? Wow. That's kind of impressive. Although this isn't true. 3 cobblestones, 2 sticks. Actually, that is true. 2 sticks and 3 cobblestones, but then it's also 3 iron or 3 diamond. We're really nerding out on this, by the way. Gonna set up a pool. This is really interesting. And by the way, if you want to test this out, you can go to chat.openai.com and then you just sign up for an account. It takes an email address and a phone number, and that's all. You can have duplicate accounts with the same phone number, and also the password.
Phone number? I just went
What's
through
that?
my Google account.
You didn't have to use your phone number? Wow, that's impressive. I had to do my phone number.
Oh, dang.
All right, so let's see. So now that we've got an idea of like, it's really good at coming up with outlines. And in fact, in my own writing process, I find that coming up with an outline is like the most important thing. So once you have the outline written, it's really easy to go through and add to each one of those steps. So this would be a really good way to like start the article, and then you just add in your own words and make sure that all this stuff is actually right. The next thing that I thought was really cool is I actually got inspiration from this from Twitter, which we're going to talk about at the end of this episode. But it's really good at coming up with actual domain names. So if I just run this, which was like come up with a creative website name for a blog about pest control, it's going to think for a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't like hang up or anything, but
It's like I'm done talking to you.
it's actually, I've ran this a bunch. It's actually really cool what this thing is capable of. There's some talk on Twitter. Oh, there it goes.
The pest expert, is that one?
The pest expert, like you should check that and see if that's a real domain.
Check it.
We might have to buy it before we post this, because that's a really good domain name right there.
It's available. It's $5,000 though.
Okay, so someone else has thought of it and they're just squatting on it.
Pest Control
Mastery,
Pro.
Pest Control Pro. Oh, .net. That's really interesting that one of them was a .net. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's taken.
It's cool that it came up with 10 of them too. I didn't tell it to do that. I said a few, and it came up with 10 of them. What's another example?
Can you come up with a few course name ideas for an analytics course?
Come up with like that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Well, shoot, that's their whole outline right there.
Mastering Google Analytics 4. These could definitely have some tweaking to them to make them a little bit better for like SEO and copywriting, but it's really good starting stage. Power user tips and tricks beyond the basics, the complete guide. Very interesting. So I guess first, it's really good at coming up with outlines. It's also really good at coming up with domain names, which this wasn't. This was domain names, and then this was like course name ideas. Let's go to the third one, which we technically have already done. If it loads, I think I may have.
Oh, TJ, we're not recording.
Yeah, we are. We're at 8 minutes 35 seconds.
You're supposed to react with how you tried to scare me earlier.
You made my heart stop for a minute. I looked up and it said live 8:45, and I was like, that was a close one. All right, how to create their... Oh, yeah, look at that. I pasted a whole bunch. So an intro paragraph. So it can write these intro paragraphs for you. Creating your own Ethernet cable may seem daunting at first, but with the right tools and knowledge, it's a relatively simple and cost-effective process.
I could use this.
Yeah, it's working. Whether you need a long cable to reach a distant router or a custom length cable for a specific project, it's a useful skill to have. Let's get started. That's a really good intro. Like, they kind of got to the point. They discussed what they could do, what they could not do. I really like that intro. I will say with a lot of this stuff is like, what it's missing is like spice. So like, you got to put your own personality in this.
What would you do if you said add a little spice into it?
Like, if I owned a blog that talked about this, I would say something about like here at, and then insert like the name of the blog. We've made thousands of Ethernet cables, and here's some tricks that we've done. Which now that I think about it, you probably
put
could.
in. Please write a confident, spicy intro paragraph.
Confidence. Please write a confident but sassy intro paragraph for a blog article. You want to see what it comes up with?
Oh,
I love.
Listen up, folks. Dang, I like that.
So yeah, it's actually pretty good at putting personal. Listen up, folks. It's time to ditch those overpriced Ethernet cables and learn how to make your own.
That's it.
We'll be dishing out tips and tricks. Grab your tools, and let's get started. Okay, see, you might need to edit that. That's still really good. That's a really good intro.
You're talking to a bunch of computer people, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm sassy too."
Yeah, that's really interesting. Man, I love this tool. All right, we got to keep moving. I could spend all day using this tool. All right, so here's another one. This one can actually, it kind of does keyword research for you. So let me see. I said, please find me some good blog keywords for a writer to create on the topic of finding a good couch. By the way, if you have any other ideas of things. Wow, it's still going. Oh no, what did I do? It just kept going.
Try again.
Wow. Dang. Couch features to consider. I bet people actually type that. How to measure for a couch, vintage couches. These are I'm impressed. I don't think this will replace doing actual keyword research and finding where the volume is like 50, the long tail keyword, but you give this thing 5 years, it might be able to do that for you. And we'll get to that later on in this episode. So is there another keyword research that maybe you would want to look at, Nico?
Let's do tea.
Topic of
loose leaf tea. Why not? I've been drinking a little bit more tea here recently.
Sometimes it gets a little upset at you. Okay, yeah. So basically, there's too many people using this right now. Which if we give it a minute, it'll cool down. But another thing is, it really doesn't. If you ask it to do something on the internet, it knows that you're asking it to do something on the internet, and it won't let you. It's like I don't have access outside the internet or past a snapshot or something like that. Let's see if there's too many requests.
So you're going to do the originality.ai, right? You should test that intro and see what it thinks about it.
I'm going to have to I think I just reset it. That would have been cool because the originality.ai is a tool that's recently been created that basically tells you if it thinks it's been written by AI or not. And in my experience, it has kind of worked. I would say that Nico's articles are not completely AI created. You definitely put stuff in there. And then I have a writer that I've asked her if she uses AI and she says no. And the difference was yours scored a 52%. It was 48 on one article and 52 on another. So I'm going to say 50. And then I tested one of mine and it was 11. So that sounds about right for you. You're AI assisted. And then my writer is not using any AI, which I want to talk to her to see if she's open to the idea of using AI, because I would be really interested to have her. Well, actually, I know how much time and how much money it takes for her to write 4 articles. I'd be really interested to see if she could write the same amount of articles in a less amount of time using AI tools. But there's also a learning curve there too. The first 10 articles you write with AI, you have to learn how to use it.
Hey, but after those 10 articles,
what's that? If she's twice as. All right, we've got to pull back up here again. Let's see if it works. Loose leaf tea ceremony. All right. These are some good keywords. And we know that they're good keywords because we've done keyword research about loose leaf tea before.
Yes,
versus bagged tea.
You should do mini golf.
Mini golf. I mean, obviously, if you actually do keyword research, you'll probably find all those keywords over there. But this is finding them really quick, too. I wonder if I can tell it to do long tail. Find some good long tail blog keywords. Wow.
Dang.
Mini golf for special needs. Wow, this is impressive. That's really cool. So yeah, you can do outlines, you can do domain names, you can do intros, keyword research. And this last one that I came up with, this is really cool. You're going to like this, Nico. So I said, write me a poem about two guys hosting a podcast that teaches the listeners about making money with a blog. The podcast hosts are Nico and Theodore. When I tested, I just kept rerunning it to see what it came up with. It's literally a poem.
They teach listeners far and wide.
You want me to go ahead and read this?
Yeah.
All right, two guys, Nico and Theodore, host a podcast that's quite bold. They teach their listeners far and wide how to make money with a blog as their guide. They share tips and tricks every day on how to monetize in every way. From sponsored posts to affiliate sales, they help their listeners make money with tales. Their podcast is popular, their fans are true. They listen to Nico and Theodore too. They're grateful for their knowledge they impart on how to make money with a blog from the start. So if you're looking to make a buck, listen to Nico and Theodore's podcast and good luck. With their help, you'll be making money in no time, thanks to their podcast and their clever advice online. I could not have written that.
We should hire out like a little song and make that our jingle for the beginning of the podcast.
Can I copy and paste this and keep it somewhere? we could probably edit
EJ.
Yes, he'd love that. Just rap over it. All right, so this kind of I just wanted to show the possibility of this tool. And there's a lot of people out there that say AI is not going to take over. It's not going to replace people that are doing these jobs. And I think the sad thing is all right, so this thing's already doing really well. Like I get inquiries from people who are not native speaking. And if they used this tool, they would immediately increase their chance of like getting a position. And so AI may not replace people, but people that know how to properly use AI may replace the many people who are not using AI. I guess is going to be my current statement. You give me 5 years and this stuff, if it's way better, I may change that position. But what I will say is that someone with the power to use AI is going to be a lot more dangerous, a lot more powerful than someone who doesn't know how to use it properly or isn't using it at all. That's my thoughts on it. This is really cool.
That was a fun poem. I've never written a poem, but I would experience that one.
All right, so this one's called DALL-E 2. Actually, I think it's just called DALL-E. There is DALL-E 2. Maybe it is using DALL-E 2, but this basically is the same thing, except it just makes images. So I've got an image of a futuristic air conditioner. You click generate, and then it loads it. And of course, it takes some time. Like it's got to think about what to create, and it's got to actually render everything. I think the images take a little bit longer than the text, which makes sense. But sometimes what it creates blows my mind. And I've got some examples here that you'll see what it does well and what it doesn't do well.
I want to try creating my own here while that's loading.
Go for it. It's actually taking a little bit longer than it did last time, which we already got the message about it being used a bunch. OpenAI right now is a private company. I'm not going to say Elon funded it, but Elon Musk is a investor in this company. And so it's still private. If it ever goes public, kind of like SpaceX, if it ever goes public, it's probably going to make a bunch of money because they are actually right now charging you per thing that you do. And so if you wanted to make a blog and if you just trained this ChatGPT to be like, make a blog with 500 posts about the topic of setting up a pool, it could literally do that for you. And then you tell it, hey, every post, create 3 images, and then you give it access to this thing, and then it'll make 3 images. That amazes me.
Could you run a script that loaded these? So run a script that loaded these 3 sites and inputted, like, so you're like, this post is about this. So like, say this post is about analytics, and then it loaded those 3 sites, created the outline, filled in the outline, created the images.
I'm sure there's scripts out there you could definitely do that with.
And there's the futuristic.
Yeah, futuristic air conditioner, which these all look like the same air conditioner, like current air conditioners we have nowadays, just with like a futuristic background. Maybe I'm not sure what this is. So some things it does good, some things it does not. So
let me share my screen. I did barefoot driving. I'll share.
I will say it's really bad at hands and feet. It's also bad at faces, I found.
Geez, this is great at feet. Can you see it? Oh, let me see if I can.
Oh my goodness! It actually nailed the feet.
Yeah, look at it, barefoot driving. This
The
guy
feet are
is
on the
great
steering wheel.
barefoot driving.
That's actually, it looks like a bunch of stock photos piled on top of each other,
Look
but
at the
I
little
can't
toes
complain.
in the back.
Yeah, there's something messed up with those toes. That's why I said it's not the best with hands and feet.
Are
But
there
it actually,
variations too?
those feet
Oh,
are way better than the hands that I've seen. There's like hands with like 20 fingers or fingers coming out of other fingers. It's crazy. It's a little spooky, but this one's taking a little bit more to load. I may not go through all of these just because it's taking a little bit.
talk about original photos.
I will. There's two more that I want to share, so we'll stick with this until I can share two more. But I did a robot working on fine tuning itself, and it was like a clear picture of a robot like working on itself. I was like, that was amazing. So this one's a little bit more like illustrations, maybe. Which I said, futuristic air conditioner powered by the sun takes up a very small amount of space. So like that was this is, I would say this is a bad one. Like none of these, I don't know. This actually looks kind of interesting. It's definitely looks more like a graphic than a picture, though. This next one is a single duck floating on a pond with a beautiful sunset. So I haven't done anything with like portrait or landscape imagery. This is gonna blow your mind. And then I'm gonna add something to this, and it's gonna like blow your mind even more. Which, if you knew anything about AI popping into this podcast, you probably understand how this works. But also, by the way, this podcast, this episode, they really should not be listening to. We haven't put it up on Spotify or anything yet, but this is really a visually needed. Like you have to watch this on YouTube to get the full experience of this episode.
Oh yeah, we haven't put this podcast anywhere. It's only on YouTube. They should.
We didn't even say that today's episode was number 11. Actually, today's number 10, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because we've
been
kind of
doing this
recorded
for like 13 weeks now. 14.
That's crazy. We're sticking with it. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this podcast, by the way. I love putting together this stuff to share with you and the things I'm learning and the audience members we're meeting. So these look like real pictures. They're not, and you can see. I don't know if I can click on this. Yeah, you can see like this duck right here is definitely malformed. But if you like squint, you can tell it's a duck.
Look at its beak.
Yeah. Actually, all of them, if you zoomed in really close, you could tell that AI made it because it's not like perfect. But like I said, can I make this smaller? Maybe not. Yeah, if you like squint, you can tell that that's what it's trying to do. All right, so this next one is gonna blow your mind if this one didn't. So I'm just gonna add to it in the style of Picasso, and it's gonna turn all those images into look like they were Picasso paintings. And it actually works. It blew my mind.
What the heck? A bowl of soup. Wow.
Yeah, these little examples here are really cool too. I'm curious about these little colors down here. I wonder if those are used for developers or something.
That's the DALL-E logo. If you look up,
is
in
it
your
really?
tab.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, because here soon we're not going to know if something's AI generated or if it's real.
That's a whole nother conversation in itself on art. That's a really cool.
This could be a logo. I wonder what the. All right, so I've got
T-shirt.
I've got two legal questions about this. My first legal question is, their training data. So like with ChatGPT, they definitely went out and looked at a bunch of websites, and you can tell because you can be like, what version of Node or what version of WordPress is current, and it says an older version. But what that means is that they looked at those websites and they're using that in their training model. If they use my website, do I have a right to like say, hey, you can't use that for your training model? That's my first question. And my second question is, if I wanted to start let's say I started a band and I wanted the album cover to be this, could I use that? I probably have to look into DALL-E licensing, but this looks really cool. This is AI generated and it's literally what I asked it.
Dang.
I love this.
I like the bright colored one in the middle. The left middle, yeah.
I like it. It looks like all the colors and everything. That's really cool. I'm trying to think of an image that I could generate really quick to say to like something that I would put on a blog. What? Oh. Let's see if this works. Because if this works, I could actually generate this and then put it on my blog. And if it doesn't work, then that means they still got some time, a ways to go. This is like using AI images is like a step above using stock images, in my opinion.
That's a great photo. A stained glass window depicting a hamburger in French.
I love it. It's exactly what they asked for. Oh, one line drawing. That's so cool.
Dang.
That's really cool.
Crayon drawing of 6 cute, colorful monsters with ice cream cone bodies. Aw.
It's very impressive. What is that? That's an AI generated picture.
If you had both of those animals, you probably would not know the difference.
Wow. I'm curious to see if it gets this.
Oh
my goodness, it did it.
DJ.
It did it. That looks like a real picture. I mean, another AI could probably look at this and be like, look at it and immediately know, like, actually, I'm not even sure what's hanging down off his ear over here, and his foot looks a little weird. Also, the collar, I can't complain about the collar. That kind of
zooming in that much on it.
If you put this on a blog post, I don't think anyone would notice. Also, this one, actually, the face looks a little weird.
Yeah. The first one's not so bad. That one.
Like I said, you give them a year, you give them 5 years, these images will be up to date. They will look like real. They will be indistinguishable. We will not be able to tell.
Yeah, give it a year. AI is like 2xing each day itself or whatever.
And that interests me. So that kind of wraps up DALL-E. If you want to try out DALL-E, literally, if you create an account at chat.openai, you can use the same account to log into labs.openai.com, and then they give you 50 free. They give you 50 free credits. So you can type. I think it's 50 images. So I don't know if this counts as 1 or 4, but you can tell it to make whatever you want it to like generate. Obviously, I would read the terms and I wouldn't have it generate anything weird. Like, it also is really bad at words. A sign. Like, it's probably going to fail at this task because it's really bad at words. It's really bad at faces and hands. So
when you get a chance, go to your top right on your account. While that's loading, click on that just for a second or hover.
This?
Yeah. And then go to the out painting. Try that one as well.
Is this the one that fills in?
I think so.
I haven't even tried this yet.
A lighter, just so everybody knows. I was sticking it up to my mouth.
Photograph of an astronaut riding a horse. I generate it, and then, all right, it's doing a bunch at once. A blue. Yeah, see, it's really bad at words.
What? Hard. Tired.
Also, half of these aren't even turning left. Actually, yeah, half of them are. Wait, no, most of them are turning right. Anyways, let's go on to that thing you just told me, which I think it's what I think it is, which is where you can change stuff. By the way, we're halfway through this episode and we haven't even talked about really how to use it on blogs. We'll get there. We're just fascinated at this tech, which will probably be second nature in like a couple of years. People just know how to use this stuff like Photoshop.
Yeah, I'm all for. Whoa.
Is there an eyeball in his chest? All right, what?
So I think you can click that. What's those arrows for?
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Wow. That's so cool. All right, I can erase stuff. That's amazing. All right, I'm going to erase the moon to see what it regenerates for the moon. How do I fix this? Oh, you can also paint stuff together. I saw this somewhere. I don't know if it's working right now or not.
If anything, we can just move on to the next little part.
That's true. All right, so the next thing that I was going to share was something called Crayon, which they call it DALL-E Mini. And so we actually have DALL-E 2 now, so you don't really need to use DALL-E Mini, but if you want like a way to create a bunch of images without being limited by DALL-E, you can do the same thing here where you just type in what you want it to create and it'll draw for you. And I noticed that they monetized with these ads here and then also print it on a t-shirt. that is an amazing idea. I didn't even think about that. You literally make something and then you print it on a t-shirt and they will mail it to you. That's actually a really cool monetization. I bet they're making a decent chunk of money just from this. Another one was called Stable Diffusion, which I'm not sure if Stable Diffusion and Midjourney are different, but the way I was introduced to it was through a Discord channel, and you just type in what you want. And I'll be honest, it works the same way that's cool. It just filled in the rest of the image, kind of. It works the same way that DALL-E does, where you tell it what you want it to create, and it creates it. And the difference is like some of these are just better at some things, and some of these are better at other things. The next thing was GitHub Copilot, which is like AI but for code. So I don't know enough right now to be able to show you how this works. But
that'd be so nice.
I have used it with PHP, and it worked. I've also seen videos of it being used in other languages, and they're like, "Yo, this is what I wanted to type," and you see like it's just typing it for them, and so that's pretty amazing. Like, you also like you type a comment like, on my blog I want the title to be blue," and then it like will do what it needs to do.
I'd be interested in making a website of that, like a React blog site.
It's probably doable. You could probably look up React GitHub Copilot tutorial or something like that.
Here is things like this right now need people who know what they're doing behind it to make sure it works. Like if I hopped in there and was like, yeah, this is how PHP works, like I wouldn't know if it was right or wrong or generating. Like you still need the expertise behind the user operating
That's true.
it.
That's like in the beginning, I said AI assisted, and I think that's the key. I think it'll be a long time before we can make a whole website with just AI. Actually, people can do that. I think it'll be a long time before we can have a good website with just AI. But I think now people are creating good websites, AI plus some help. So they're making YouTube videos, making that custom content to make
which
it,
is making it quicker. Like that's the thing is how quick you can do it.
Yeah. Another thing was something called Avatar.ai, which I had to be careful how far down I scroll on this.
I've seen a blog that had only like 6 of these for all their writers, and I was like, you even mentioned you're like, hey, I don't think these are real people.
Oh, this isn't the one that makes fake people. I think that's this person does not exist.com or something like that. This is one where you put in what you actually look like, and then I'll give you an example. Some of these people are in underwear, so I got to be careful how much I scroll. But you can see it's all based off this one person, and they look pretty similar. And if there's someone in there.
Whoa, Theodore.
Anyways, if you choose a woman, there's a lot more skin. But what I will say is that some of these people use these for like Tinder profiles, and they use them for. So I've seen some on Facebook. So that's just really interesting to me. The guy that actually created this website did it in like a weekend. Got an MVP up. Like he was like, "Hey, this is working. If you want to buy, it's $30." And then I think he's made like 6 figures doing this. And I guess he added cats and dogs, which that's super cool, by the way. That's
if I had an animal.
That's so cool, oh my goodness. That's interesting. Anyways, we can go on to interior AI, which
that's nice.
This person who created Avatar AI also created interior AI, which to show you how this works, you take a picture of your room, you upload it, and then it says this is what your room could look like. I don't think are these the same? These are the same, definitely, because you can see like the ceiling and stuff. They're like, this is how you could decorate it. And one of the ways he's monetizing this, I don't actually know if he's done this or not yet, but he's adding affiliate links. So like this table right here, if you're like, that's a cool table, I want that table, you'll click on it, and then his AI will be like, go on Amazon and find a table that looks like that. It's like, this is the closest one that looks like that, and then here's an Amazon link you can buy. That will probably make a ton of money. Yeah, there's a lot. I wish I should have scrolled through this a little bit more and got more comfortable with it, but
it's like whole designing this stuff.
Like this one, let me see. There's a way you can, like, if you're like, I don't like that couch. Yeah, see, he's definitely charging money for it. If you're like, I don't like that couch, you can erase out this couch and it'll be like, we'll find you something else new. And you could do that a million times. It would just keep finding something new that would fit that space.
I like the shelf on the back. Wow. I might use that for my living room right now. I need photo ideas.
This tool is amazing. Another thing that this tool is really cool for, there's a lot of home improvement websites out there that make a ton of money off keywords like brown couch for big living room. That's just an example. And then the posts are like 50 brown couches for big living rooms, and then it just shows you a bunch of brown couches. That's hard to do if you don't have a bunch of brown couches to take pictures of, or you don't have a way to find them. With this, you could just have AI create it and be like, here's 50 brown couches in 50 different living rooms. And so that actually is a whole website idea that I probably could just make tomorrow just by creating a whole bunch of like AI couches and then making a blog post about it. But that's really cool. These are all the same, just designed differently.
I love that. That's nice. Wow.
Another
I'm gonna show
AI.
my wife that tonight. We're gonna see if we can.
I would be surprised if something like Nebraska Furniture Mart or Ashley Furniture or something doesn't buy this website and then just promote the heck out of their own stuff.
Yeah.
That's and like this one, it actually tells you how long it took. This one took 5 seconds to create, so that's cool. It's super quick. The next one I wanted to share was something called podcast.ai, which what they're doing is they're taking two people that may never have the ability to talk. In this case, it's Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs, this one right here. And they basically have AI look at their biographies and then create a podcast as if they were together actually talking. And they also have their voices like trained based on previous things that they've said. And it looks like this newest one is Lex Friedman and Richard Feynman. So I don't know if you can hear this or not, but it actually sounds like Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs, and they actually have a conversation as if they were actual real people having a conversation. So it's super cool to see how far this technology has come. I've got like 2 or 3 more examples I want to share, and then we can go into Jasper. So this one's called Poly AI, and I actually found this one just by looking up like AI tools, and then there was like a big list of like 50 or 100. And I thought this one was cool. It's like Google Voice, actually. I probably could just say this is just basically Google Voice with a different voice. It's basically Google Voice.
Man, now, so I know we're not talking about the blog, but there'd be tons of things I don't want to do every day. Like my wife was like, create this work order for our apartment. If I could have an AI assistant that I was like, can you do these 10 things for me this today? And it like called people and it like voice chatted them.
Yeah.
That would be.
And did that phone call for you? That'd be pretty cool. This one is called Adept, and Adept, I think it's still like an MVP. Like, I don't think this thing is actually created or not yet. But theoretically what it does is like it's AI plus internet. So supposedly they're going to train this thing so well that you can be like, I probably should have watched through some of these examples, but they're like, set up this thing with this data from this spreadsheet, and then get rid of all the ones where the profit is lower than whatever this is. And then, so it's just like, it's like a general purpose AI, which is a term that like the AI can do anything.
So basically what I was just mentioning of like, hey, do this, this, and this.
Yeah, this one's meant less for phone stuff. This Adept is meant more for like doing stuff on the web, so like new tweets and stuff like that. And then this last one I wanted to share was called Runway, and it's basically Photoshop AI. So like you just saw there, that was amazing.
Holy cow.
That's pretty cool.
Will the world be real in 10 years?
And then like they turned it into a video. And then like they want to change the vase. They just click change the vase and it goes to a white vase. And there's a ton of other like examples on their website. I don't think it's, like this one is removing the video background. So they just click the person and then boom. If you just did that in Adobe Premiere, that would take you like an hour to go through all those frames and like outline the person each frame. So this would be a huge time saver. What's this one? Paint out objects. Oh, you get rid of them. That's super cool. Motion tracking. Let's see what this does. I mean, it definitely stayed on that person. I'm not too much of a video editor, so I'm not sure on the what you could do with that. But just another example
Automatic
of AI
subtitles,
stuff.
Noise removal. Dang.
It just blows my mind. So at this portion of the episode, if you want, you can pull up Jasper and kind of walk me through how you use Jasper, which by the way, we tried an episode of writing an entire article in Jasper, and it was a tough episode to do because we basically were like talking a little bit and then we wouldn't talk for like 5 minutes because we'd both be writing on the article, and then we talk for a little bit more and then we'd both be writing, and it was really hard to turn that into a good episode. So we actually didn't publish that, and we turned that episode into this episode where we talk a little bit more about AI, and then And then basically Nico's going to show us how he uses Jasper.
And there was a guy that commented on one of my videos. He was like, please create a video on how you use Jasper to create content. So I might sit down and just hammer out a video and edit it and all that. I wonder if there's AI editing tools. Maybe we could try that in it.
I will say that was when we were writing that article in Jasper, that was probably my favorite thing. Was I was reading something and I was like, this doesn't sound right. And then you showed me, you just highlight it. Hold on one second. I'm just going to
put this on here.
Yeah, I'm going to stop the screen. And you showed me that like you could just highlight a sentence and then be like, have Jasper rewrite it. And it rewrote the sentence in a way that made it flow well with me. And I was like, this is really nice.
Yeah, so let's start with like how to mini golf. So that's it. I've been really enjoying mini golf recently, guys. So that's why I'm on the mini golf. And then say how to, just going to keep that all the same. I need to get better about it. But so let's say I want to do it in a
educational.
Let's do it in a witty. Let's just try the witty. So I don't really 100% know how to use the command bar. Let's actually just try here. So let's create an intro. Create an intro talking about mini golf and the importance of learning how to. Let's see.
I'm curious what this comes up with. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's a long intro. So you should create on OpenAI just real quick.
Tell it to do the same thing. Have them compete.
But tell it to do a different, like a shorter intro. Like it needs to be shorter. I guess I have OpenAI right here. 1 second. I'll just do it right here.
All right.
If I can share the tab.
And then when you're done, you can send them over to me and I can test them with that AI checker tool.
Yeah, so create an intro. There we go. So I like this intro a little bit better. It's still pretty long.
You should copy both of those and in a new tab, send those to me and then I can test them with.
Okay, I'll put them both in our chat, just right here in our private chat.
Cool.
There's the first one, and here's the second one.
I don't think it did the whole thing. It only does so many words.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So then back to this. So I'm not a big fan of that. So what I usually like to do is like, I know what I'm going to write. So let's say here recently I have enjoyed mini golf. Then you're like, I don't know what else to type. It's like, oh, mini golfing with my friends. And I've learned some tips and tricks. Oh, mini folding. So we're actually going to do this. Create a blog outline talking about how to mini golf. Oh, yeah.
That's actually really good for a blog outline. Tips for playing better mini golf. What are the different types of mini golf courses? Some of these things I wouldn't even think of to put there. Fun facts. Fun fact. That's so good because that's what my writer does.
Yeah, so then you're like, so now you have your title. So we're just going to remove that. And like I say, guys, don't use this in a way that you're just creating AI content. Use it in a way to assist your writing. So like you could just sit here and you could just compose and you could be like, okay.
Just have that one paragraph right there and like that answers what is mini golf.
Yeah, but you could just, the crazy thing is you could just keep going.
You could have it right
I'm sorry if you guys can hear my neighbors right now. They're obnoxiously loud. I never knew you could shut a closet door so loud.
I'm excited. I'm moving in it like a month into an apartment, so I'm super excited to experience that as well.
You would have thought, right? Blows my mind, but it's okay. Yeah, so back to Jasper. Now that I'm done complaining about my neighbors. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool things. So like if you wanted to pull the income school way and you're like, I've never learned how to play mini golf, but I took the time to learn. Here is how you play it. And then you want your little snippet preview. And you're like, okay, let's generate. And then you can just keep generating it. Oh,
dang.
You're
so
like,
it's
okay,
basically
well,
like the ChatGPT, except it's like optimized for blog posts, right?
Basically, and they have a ton more stuff here. I'm not gonna go back into power mode.
You don't have to click
keywords.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
so
that's basically it.
in
And like I
your
said, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, I'll probably do my own video maybe here in a couple of days of me like creating an outline and then you guys actually seeing the process.
That'd be a good video.
Because right now, there's a lot I can show you, but in the next 15 minutes, there's not a lot I can show you.
It's
So,
better as an edited video. I will
Yeah.
say though, what do you? So I have something in mind that I could prime you with, but what are the pitfalls of this, and then where does it work really well?
the pitfalls is if the information is correct or not. Because this is
So
a
like statistics.
bunch of crap sometimes, and you're like, well, this is the structure of what I wanted. That's not the content I wanted. So that's kind of the pros and cons of that. It's like it gives you good structure, and you're like, that's a great idea. I didn't think about formatting it like that or putting a story there. Then you go back and you edit it all, and you're like, okay, well, here's my story, here's my information.
So
But
it's
then I
really
spent
good
the
at
2 hours of sitting there being like, man, I don't know what to write here, or I feel bad about not being able to write here. It's like, no, I got stuff to do. Generate a little bit, let me fix that. Generate a little bit, let me fix that. Let me add my own little sprinkles of cayenne pepper.
Interesting. So is it really good at like transition and flow and making sure all that works well?
Yeah. So
It's just
once you start typing a little bit yourself, it recreates how you're typing. So like if there's common words I
teach it.
use, it reuses those common words.
That's
Really
cool.
weird.
That's really cool. So
I
like
don't
it
feel like
learns your
original now with myself.
yeah, so it like uses your teaching style, your writing style.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I
will-
have seen it like exponentially increase the amount of content I've put onto my site. Output, yeah.
It has.
And I don't care if people are upset about it. They're like, oh, you're using AI. There's traffic coming in. I'm putting out more words, and I am happy with the content that I'm originally producing on top of it.
That's
you
true.
You gotta get with the times. I'm sorry if you're upset about that. I've seen some people who they're like, I will never use that, and I'm like, all right, man.
I will say I've seen a lot of people who use AI. What they'll do is they'll make a new website in their niche and they'll just load it up with AI. They'll just be like, write 5,000 posts and index them all. And then they have them index them all. They wait 3 months and they look back and they be like, which one of these keywords are winning on this AI site? Because if they're winning on the AI site, they're worth having an actual writer created actually good content that's not AI written for this money site that I have.
Is that
I
the
think
programmatic SEO?
programmatic.
Yeah.
I think programmatic SEO may be just a little different, but
Mm.
that AI creating an AI website to test your keywords, I always thought that was a cool idea. It's probably a ton of work to set up one of those, or at least my own belief is that it is going to take a little bit of
We
initial.
should find someone who's done it to show us.
I can probably reach out to some people on Twitter and see if they.
Speaking of Twitter, that poop shoot.
We can share our comments about that, and also I'll share my own thought in terms of an experiment that I'm running. So if you want to share your thoughts first.
Oh, you want the negative thoughts first?
Go for
so you
it.
can end on the positive.
I think it's better that way.
Guys, I'm not enjoying Twitter. I'm not enjoying the niche site Twitter. And maybe it might be the people I'm following. I wake up to, I don't know if it's people bragging, but like people just don't actually put out like stuff that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me try that. It's like, I quit my job to do this. But you told me like the last 6 months. Like, I don't know if they're targeting people on Twitter, if they're trying to sell something. I don't know. There's a lot of negativity on Twitter. And I feel like it's feeding into my soul in the niche space.
I understand. I really want to share some specific tweets, but I know this video might get around to future people we work with, and I don't want them to be offended. But there are some accounts that I go through and I read some of their profile tweets, and they have thousands of followers. And I'm like, if I read this every morning, I would just be sad and depressed.
Yeah, I get notifications. I need to turn those off because I'm like, oh, what are they saying today? The same crap they said 2 weeks ago.
And maybe you're right. Maybe I just need to follow more people that produce unique content, and actually helpful content. But it seems like there's a lot of people in the niche site space that are just sharing their income reports, which we definitely do. We can't be hypocritical about that. They share
you can share that. That's fine.
What you shouldn't do in SEO, what you should do in SEO, and I'll just give some context. Let me share my screen really quick. This This is the type of stuff. So I'm trying to lead by example. This is the type of stuff I would love to see on Twitter. So I made this post that said, I spent $200 on this Fiverr gig in 3 days. It's crazy how fast Ahrefs DR can be manipulated. So you can see here is like 10 and it popped up to 62 in 3 days. I said, very interested to see how this experiment affects traffic levels. I didn't say anything about whether I thought this was a good gig, whether I thought it was a bad gig. It was very neutral. I said, it's crazy to see how fast it can be manipulated. And I said, it was interesting to see how it affects traffic levels. The comments on this is actually one of my best posts, which is surprising because all the comments are like, they're not necessarily negative, but they're not positive. So we can look through some of these.
Oh, dang.
They said, this was a person that said, if it's for inflating, let me make this a little bit bigger. People watching this probably can't see. That's better. If it's for inflating DR or other metrics, it won't affect traffic stats. But if the links are powerful, they might give you your keywords some boost. And this person said, I bet you they use PBN to increase your DR because on Fiverr, they mostly sell this, which the links aren't necessarily PBN, the ones I've looked at. And this one said, why would it affect your traffic? You're missing some of the most basic and fundamental SEO 101, which that's like one of the first actual negative comments. This person said, guaranteed it'll make no difference. Proves it how meaningless DRDA. So I literally said, I'm curious how my experiment is going to work out. And this person said, yo, I guarantee you it's not going to work. And I woke up to that message and I was like, guys, this is an experiment. The whole point of an experiment is to have no presuppositions and see how it works. You'll know later it's black hat SEO. I saw DR9 with tons of search traffic and DR70. So this is at least some experience that someone
That's
had.
a better post.
I don't think, this guy said, I don't think instant DR will do anything to the traffic. And then Keith, I appreciate you, Keith. He said, my money is on no effect on traffic. So at least his wasn't
That's a good one.
At least it wasn't like super negative.
But Shauna, that's our, I don't think I should say that's our girl, Shauna. You're doing great, Shauna.
Yeah, Shauna said, was it just link building or was it to test other stuff? Because she basically said that she knows someone DR88. And when she does a guest post, it's an immediate DR45 to her website and the traffic goes up.
Cow.
Which, by the way, I replied to this and I was like, I basically said the new links look like spam. And I've confirmed to myself that it's very easy to manipulate Ahrefs DR. And then I also offered my own thoughts on what you said. I would predict that Google can probably track referring traffic. So like I'm using Chrome right now. I think they can see this. And Google can see basically everything you do on Chrome, even when you're in incognito and everything. They track that stuff. And I would say that they could probably track that and then see that there's a bunch of people going from this website to this website. And they're like, yo, this website must be pretty good. Someone else, I was able to do the same for one. This was actually kind of a funny one. They basically said they were able to do it for cheaper and it's still up there. This person said, absolutely huge mistake. If you're running
a mistake on a website with no traffic or
this, maybe I should have prefaced it by saying this was a test domain. If you're running an experiment to see if something works, especially if it's in SEO, this is not a mistake. You should be spending money to see if something works or something doesn't work. This is at least my philosophy. Maybe I'm being a little...
Like how I'm testing my videos. Well, not spending money, but testing.
So I think this is my own personal opinion. I think in SEO, there's too many people that do one thing and then it either works or it doesn't work. And then these 50,000 people go, look at what they did. It worked. I would like to see more people in the niche site SEO space go, I tried this. This is my experience. And if we had 50 people doing that, I would I'd probably pay all 50 of those people to learn from their current experiments. This person right here that's saying absolutely huge mistake.
Are you going to?
Okay. I can't make any comments. Not trying to be, this person said, not trying to be rubbish, not trying to rubbish your effort, but links like this usually end in tears. I don't care if they end in tears. I spent the $200 to see if it works or if it doesn't work. And that's literally what I said. I said, I want to walk the walk and have evidence to show people my own experiences when I give them advice, instead of saying someone else said that Fiverr gigs don't work. I want to spend the money on the Fiverr gigs and see if they work. That way I can actually say that I've tried it and they work or they don't work. And then I said, what did you spend on your experience? And when did you do it? Was it 5 years ago?
Sounds a little sassy, TJ.
I know. I am getting sassy. We probably need to hop off this. I was just reading some of these comments and I was like, if you're getting started in the niche site community, you probably shouldn't go to Twitter because they're just not super helpful people. and this was actually probably the most useful thing I got. It was like, at least you could turn off some competitors. So if it tanks the website and it just trashes it because it's bad links, he was basically saying you could do the same gig to your competitors and knock them down. And I said, that's not something I thought of because that's technically negative SEO. In my own philosophy, I'd rather make my website better than to try to knock someone else down. So this person said instant flag. I said, is this from your experience or a prediction? So you will regret
they
it.
Respond?
Yeah, they said also a total prediction. So
good.
This person said you will regret soon. So I don't know, just looking through this, I get the feel of general Twitter as well. I was literally just saying I'm running an experiment. It's going to be interesting to see how it works. And half the people in the comment section was like, this isn't going to work. You wasted your money. You shouldn't have done this. I want to be the type of person that encourages other people to spend their money on other experiments as well, so that when they run an experiment, maybe I can ask them and be like, yo, how did that $200 work? Did it work? Did it not work? Did you get more traffic? Is your DR still there? Yeah, I guess it's just my own philosophy. Okay, I probably should end the rant there.
Man, this could be a whole 35-minute video.
It probably could.
Shauna, I appreciate you, Shauna. If you're watching this right now and you've got to this point,
Shauna has commented on our YouTube channel. She's emailed us, and she's interacting with me on Twitter. I really appreciate you, Shauna.
We appreciate you. You have shouted us out. That made our day.
Let's see if I can find that.
What?
That was the best part of both of our days. Where did she share it? Let me see.
Find it.
It was a really good shout out too. It was like, this is my favorite YouTuber podcast.
My new favorite niche site.
I don't remember when it was like 2 weeks ago, I think maybe. Can I search Twitter? I'm really bad at this. There we go. These two dudes are my favorite niche site YouTubers right now. That I liked it. That made we also got like 20 new subscribers that day, like out of the blue. So probably attributed to you, Shauna. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go into this AI checker. So can you write something in Jasper really quick for me to type in here?
Yeah, I got something right here. Let's see if our chat works. You can log into the Jasper if you log into it.
Okay, I may have to edit some stuff, but we will.
Can you do it on another window? Because that window is just sharing.
No, I got to do it on this window because I'm logged in here. But we'll log in really quick. Sweet. All right, so how can I just... What is this mini golf? I just want to... Oh, run a command. I'm just going to compose a whole bunch. Oh, Jasper's in the wrong place. It does that sometimes. It's a little temperamental.
Yeah. Jasper's got an ego.
Where can you play mini golf? Oh, this is like a frequently asked questions section. Let's keep going. I want a bunch of text to be able to check. By the way, this thing is called originality.ai. It's like a penny for 100 words. So if you want to check 100,000 words, I'm really bad at math. That's $100, $10. It may be even less. It was like $10 to check your whole website, Nico, which I haven't done yet. But I'm really curious to see what your whole website scores. So I'm just going to go ahead, copy this part right here, and put it into Originality AI. We'll remove some of the white spacing, and we're going to go ahead and scan it and see what it comes up with. So it also does a plagiarism check, which I really like. This is actually kind of cool that it does that as well. Let's actually go to the top place on Google. So how to play mini golf. And then we'll check them also. So what is this, Smuggler's Golf?
Yeah, and we should start a mini golf blog because that has like no words.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Oh, wow.
I could go to a mini golf course tonight and just take photos everywhere.
All right, so this tool knew that was AI. That's really impressive.
Dang.
Let's do a new one. We'll do a new one of the one I just is ranking, I think, what was it, number 2? We'll see what it ranks.
Yeah, behind the video. I wish we had an article that didn't divulge our keywords that we could show that was rewritten with some AI.
Yeah, so like it was created with AI, and then you go back through and you add your human touch, your spice. Yeah. That would be really cool. It's thinking.
It is really thinking.
But you are right. I probably should spend less time on Twitter. Oh, wow. 90. So it was like, yo, this is written by a human.
Oh, and it found the match too.
That's true. I was checking your website and it found it found it. One of them didn't even find your website, which I was like, I don't know if this plagiarism thing is working or not because this is literally from Nico's website. Um, but this is definitely working. Also, there was a bunch when I did it. This wasn't. There was an error here. It was like I had to scroll like 5 times to get past it. So maybe that's why I didn't catch it. This is new too. This is like came out like last week. It's December 5th right now. So this came out like I think the beginning of December, maybe a week before December. So if you're curious, this originality.ai thing works very well. Like it said, hey, we generated something with AI. It said, yo, it's probably AI. We grabbed something else that probably wasn't AI, and it said, hey, it's probably not AI. So it's working really well. And it found the website that's from.
We'll have to try a fellow YouTuber's blog.
I'm curious.
I'm not going to say anything, but I would be interested to see their scores and what it looks like.
Oh.
And then attribute to their videos and see if there's a reflection.
That would be interesting. Start checking some other people in the niche space of websites that we know and see if they're using AI content or how much they're using.
Yeah.
Which it did really good on yours because you technically had it write some of the article and then you edit it. And like I said, the score it gave you was like 52%. So that's really cool how well this works.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not ashamed. We're going to get to the point where writers are using it proficiently to grow the site even higher.
I'll also add this. You shouldn't be ashamed. I've read some of your articles. They're good articles that feel like they were written by a human that cares about whoever's reading them. So you shouldn't feel ashamed about your articles. You're adding that human spice. You're adding that connection feeling that, right now AI is kind of sucking on. So
except for ChatGPT.
When GPT-4 comes out, we might have some competition. I've also heard some people say that in the future, people won't even use Google. Like right now we use Google and then we find like 10 websites to review. Let's say you're looking up how to set up a pool. So you'll type it in Google and then you'll go to like first, second, third, and then maybe you'll land on the fourth one and be like, this one finally solved my problem. With ChatGPT, they're like, maybe instead of going to Google, you just go to ChatGPT and you say, here's a picture of my pool. Can you show me how to set it up? And then you don't need to go to 10 different websites to figure out how to set it up. It's literally like, here's the best tips, here's the best tricks, here's the steps you should take.
It scans the landscape and it puts the blocks down and it creates its own AI video. Be like, put poles here, here, here.
That's like 50 years in the.
I shouldn't say 50. It shows you where to lay the sand at what level.
How far off do you think that is? 20 years? We didn't have good computers 40 years ago. So
yeah, we didn't have this 20 years ago.
That's true. That's true. It's advancing really quick. I don't think we understand how fast this AI technology is going.
Yeah. But we're at an hour. This has been a good podcast.
This was a good hour. We created a poem. I did a rant on Twitter. We learned how to use Jasper.
We did a lot. It's been good. I'm glad to be back. We haven't had an episode for a couple weeks now. It's been my good. Birthday. Now your birthday's this week. We're both 26. He's my younger brother.
Literally by a week.
Literally. But it's been good, guys. Everyone, thanks for watching. Shauna, can't commend Shauna enough. And everyone else that's watching. You all get your shout out one day as well. Don't worry. We had someone else email us too, which we need to answer them back.
Oh, we've been really bad about that.
Because he's done.
I need to spend like 30 minutes answering some of those emails, doing some research.
Ilias. I'm guessing his name is, I'll say Ilias. If that's not correct, you can re-comment. But Ilias, thank you as well for emailing us. They joined our beta email list.
Oh.
Which has not yet produced anything.
I'm going to use ChatGPT to
create an outro.
Yes. How do I do this? All right. So window, I'm always having to walk through. Actually, not an outro. Please write a call to action asking
to our email list.
Is there an S there? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's slow.
Uh-oh.
So if you just sat through that, you really should be on our email list. You'll probably love some of the stuff that we're coming up with. And this is the email.
To be honest, we haven't come up with anything just yet, but we have ideas.
Actually, we have a ton of ideas. We probably have more ideas of things that
we're thinking, which the 26th, the Monday before the end of the year, we're going to have a podcast where we're going to talk about how this year went for DoubleCommaDreams, some things we learned, habits we've created, things we enjoyed, things we didn't, and then really project on what we're going to do in 2023, which I'm very excited for.
I think it's going to be a good episode.
I have some solid ideas on creating DoubleCommaDreams into a really good, the website into a really good resource for people wanting to learn how to navigate on this space, whether it's learning how to use AI, learning how to use analytics, specifically for authority sites.
Podcast,
So you're
podcast
like,
tips.
Yeah, everything.
YouTube, digital products.
It's going to be, and maybe bring on industry leaders because you're kind of a leader. I would say you're a leader. But people who project themselves as leaders, because we're just friends talking. And that's what I want to keep it as friends talking.
That's true.
I don't want to really be like, you were wrong here. No, we're just learning. That's all I got.
I think that's a good way to end the pod. All right, so contact at DoubleCommaDreams if you want to get on our email list. There's literally no place to sign up. You have to send us an email to get on. It'll probably be like that for a while, actually, now that I think about it. We were going to set up ConvertKit in December, but we know that the people that are emailing us really want to be on the list, so we need to appreciate it.
We'll send an email this week on Sunday. One email every Sunday.
That can be our first goal this month.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, it's been great. If you watched this far through, thank you. We appreciate you. As always, subscribe. Click that bell icon. I've actually never clicked the bell icon before, but you guys should do it. Tell me what it's like. That's all I got.
That was a great outro. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. As Nico said, click the subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to watch future videos that we create, future podcast episodes. And I've got some case studies coming up that you're probably really going to want to watch. Plus, Nico did say he was going to teach you how to use Jasper. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.